Well, the golf world is spinning, and everybody's heard about this. Barstool, Dave Portnoy, has announced that he is going to put up $1 million for a golf creator event. Okay, we know this. Well, if you have heard anything today, you've seen the clips, you've heard the videos, you've seen the stuff. The real question is, one, why would he do this? Why? And the pros and cons, what are they? So we're going to dive into all that. And it really started in his unnamed show, little podcast. And they were talking about what's happening next week, Wednesday, at the Tour Championship at Eastlake, here where I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm not going. I wasn't invited. I'm not bitter at all. It's totally whatever. They had said, and based on this podcast with Frankie and the guys at Barstool, that they really wanted creators who could shoot par and play good golf. But looking at the list of the 16, they only selected a few that actually could really do that. Like there's some that just they're not gonna sniff par, and they don't even do real content that is playing golf. There's some that don't do that. So that's what's surprising. But those are the ones that have some type of partnership with Peacock, NBC, Peacock, or the PGA Tour. So it seems like they want them to get the word out for whatever reason. Anyways, the thing that really hit me was the fact that Barstool and these guys were really put off and upset that they didn't really get an invite, and that they had to complain about not being invited and like, what's going on? Like, who are these guys? Like Frankie's saying, I could beat these guys. I don't understand. They're like, well, no. We'll let you hit a ceremonial tee shot. And so they were just laughing and talking about that. And then Dave said, hey, why don't we do our own? Why don't we just do our own?
Why don't we do our own creator classic then that has like the people are entertaining?
And he throws out $1 million prize purse. Okay, so let's see what that really means. And why would he even do that? And was this just him just spitballing it, just talking some trash about them and said, well, I'll do it? Or is he for sure serious about throwing out the $1 million for a real creator classic? All right, let's rewind a little bit. We got to kind of understand a little bit of the history of what's going on. The first one that was ever done was by Rick Shields. It was the YouTube Just Golf Day. He invited a bunch of creators. This was like in 2019, so a number of years ago. And a lot of people showed up. It was over there in the UK. A lot of people played, and Rick Shields put it on. And it was just more of a charity fundraiser for the charity he was supporting, and just a bunch of creators coming together. That was the first one, all right? And since then, there's been a lot of people trying to kind of do this stuff. There was somebody reaching out to me. He was trying to do it. He was trying to scam people, to believe it or not. And I think he was trying to scam not the creators, but I think he was trying to gather creators and then pitch it to sponsors, which I think he did, and then just pocketed the money and took off. So that's unfortunate. So there was some of that going on. Then Good came around. They got involved there. They did one. Now, Rick Shields said he was going to do it, but it was kind of tricky because it was so expensive to live stream this thing. So then Good stepped in. They partnered with NBC and Peacock, and they did the Desert Open back in February of this year. So that was really the first one of the live stream, all the creators, really in a tournament, an event. It was a 2-man scramble. I played in that one. And then the next one sort of was the Myrtle Beach Q, the Classic, and the winner got an exemption into the Myrtle Beach Classic PGA tournament. And they cherry-picked certain creators, and then they had other, let's say, legitimate players, Korn Ferry or mini tour players who had a legitimate chance of making it, and they had that event. And George Bryan got second. He had the win, but then he kind of blew it on the last hole. And anyways, he got an invite anyways, so he made it into the tournament. That was kind of cool. And then Good had their Midwest Open in June of this year. I also played in that one, and that was a lot more creators. And they had a prize purse for the winners and paid out, I think, the top 5 places. So that was really cool and interesting. Also a live stream event with Peacock. Now, Peacock and them, they saw how this was going. So then they announced this Creator Classic with the partnership with the PGA Tour at the Tour Championship. It's going to be at East Lake. It's next week, August 28th, 2024, and 16 creators are going to be in that. Then that sparked a whole lot of other interest, and Barstool says what they said today and that they're going to do. Are they going to do it, though, or is this just them talking? I hope they're going to do it, and here's why. Well, one, we got to figure out why would they even say this? It seems like they were mad. Now, Dave Portnoy has a history of just going against the grain. He's the kind of guy, from what we have seen, that is just like, hey, dude, I'm just going to do my thing, and I'm going to do it, and I believe in it, and people are going to watch it, and it's going to be great, and I'm going to tell you so, and I told you so, and that's what he does. And from his pizza reviews to his media company, he has been a success. And there's no doubt in my mind that if he does this, it will be a huge, huge success. There are pros and cons. We're going to get into that. Why would they do this? One is because Dave Portnoy is just, I go against the grain. I do it, and if I do it, it will work. I love that attitude. It's like, forget the obstacles. We're moving toward victory, and it doesn't matter what's in the way. We're going to bulldoze that thing, and we're going to say, I told you so, and we're going to take over. Here's the thing about this. If he does it, one, I think he'll do it right, and he'll have success. Two, I think it will be a huge disruptor in the world of golf, and I do believe it would be the number one viewed golf product out there, whether it's YouTube or TV, outside of the major championships and, let's say, the Players' Championship. This, I believe, would be probably the most viewed golf content there is. Okay, but why? Why? Why would they do this? You know, when somebody gets rubbed the wrong way, watch out, because you never know what they're going to do. So this is Barstool getting rubbed the wrong way. They've been around a long time. They've been creating golf content for a long time. There's a lot of people who have been doing golf content for a long, long time, even before that. So it's been around a long, long time. And here's what I think. Well, here's what I think the pros and cons are. Okay. The pros of them doing this is, one, they can get more creators. So it's not 16, it's 60. So you're going to have a ton more creators. They're going to pay a prize pool where a huge chunk goes to the winner. Now, here's what's interesting about that $1 million number that he just threw out, which he said it, so it's at least going to be $1 million. Here's what's interesting. What I think should be the number one golf tour on the planet is the last one, unfortunately, and that's the PGA Tour Champions. Why? Why do I bring this up? Here's why. One is they have all the stars or people of success from the PGA Tour who are older. They should be the top draw because they have all the popular players that were once popular. All these guys, David Duval, Davis Love, John Daly, KJ Choi. I mean, everybody. They should have Phil Mickelson, but he went to live, right? They should have all these players. And they're the least watched of the tour. And personally, I just think it's marketing. I think it's marketed poorly or not right. They have everything. No cut, 3 rounds, all the players in every tournament. And if they just kind of, whatever, long story, change it up a bit, I think they could be the number one tour out there, but they're not. They struggle. Here's what's interesting. The average prize purse on the PGA Tour Champions is like $2 million. 2.5 to 3 million is the total prize purse for these like 75 players. And they pay out everybody. So now you have Dave Portnoy just saying, we're going to do $1 million prize purse. Okay, $1 million for how many players? 50? How many of us are there? there's not that many that are, top creators. And let's say top, you have to have, I don't know, over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube or something. I don't know. You pick a number, you name it. Like, I think at that 300,000 mark, there's only 20, 30 maybe above that. It's hard to say. So you're going to have a lot of creators. You're going to have a pretty high prize purse, even compared to professional tours. So that's great. Also, all the top creators, people know them. So you're going to have like people who create content who are used to just kind of talking it up with the camera, who have great, fan bases, whoever it might be, right? So they can chop it up with the people there. Dave said he wanted a lot of fans. He wanted it to be exciting. He wanted it to be what creators do, trash talking, whatever. And for that much money, throwing it out there and just talking trash, people heckling you, whatever it might be, how exciting would that be? So that's a pro. The money's a pro. All right. One of the cons would be, how do you show it? Do you live stream it? How do you show everybody? Do you put it on just Barstool Sports channel? Is it like, how do you do it? That's a con. You don't know. That's going to have to be worked out because that's not easy and it's not cheap. So that's one of the cons that you're just going to have to overcome. I have no doubt that Dave Portnoy and his crew could figure that one out. One of the pros is what Dave said was it would be a handicapped event. Some people could look at this and say, okay, what is a handicap? Well, if you shoot, this is where it gets tricky because with a handicap, you could sandbag, meaning if you are a scratch golfer, meaning you shoot par most of the time, you could kind of throw up a bunch of horrible rounds where you shoot 80, 82, 88, 80, and you got like an 8 handicap, and then you show up and you shoot even par. Now, if you do that and you steal, it's stealing, right? You're sandbagging, you're stealing. People do it all the time at the club level. Here's what's good and bad. It's bad because people can still do it. It's good because if you're a golf creator and you're caught sandbagging at something like this, you're blacklisted. You're out. You're done. You're never seeing the light of day again. Everybody's going to come after you. So the best thing to do is just kind of not do that, right? So it's good and bad. You are going to be called out heavy. I mean, think about Barstool had a tournament where just some dude won and people are outing that dude saying he was sandbagging. And Riggs has to go and like do all the, CSI investigation to determine whether this guy is shaving shots or not. So that's going to be a huge, deterrent for somebody actually cheating, sandbagging. So I don't think that would happen. Plus, here's how, in a quick nutshell, it works. You take basically your best 10 rounds over your last 20. So you play 20 rounds of golf, let's say. You take your best 10, your best. Those count towards your handicap. Not your average. It's your best of your average. And then from that, so if I shoot 20 rounds and 10 rounds I shoot par, and the other 10 rounds I shot 10 over par, okay? So I'm 50-50. Half the time I shoot 10 over, half the time I shoot par. My handicap is 0. My handicap is based on my 10 best. So now I have a 0. I'm a scratch golfer. So now if I shoot under par, that's so rare. That's rare for a scratch golfer to even go under because it's your best of your last. You have to shoot incredible lights out. So you might shoot 1 under, meaning you had a heck of a day. So if you're a 12 handicap and you shoot par, you're cheating. That's how it works. There's 0 chance you can do that. It's impossible. So if you do it, you're going to be just locked out. You're out. So is this happening? And when is it happening? That's what I want to know. Dave, let's go. Let's jump on a call. Let's have a conversation. I want to know, is this for real? Or is it not for real? But the pros versus the cons, there's a ton of pros because this is the way golf is headed. It's a con for who? It's a con for the PGA Tour, right? They are a little constricted in this area, and they're slow to maneuver. They have sponsors to deal with. They have a huge board, a corporation that they're trying to deal with, and they don't necessarily want this Creator Classic to overshadow the Tour Championship. They don't want more viewers on there than they don't, because then they're in kind of a pickle. They actually want it to be like, oh, decent. And it's a way to get in like younger viewers. That's what they want. They want these younger audiences. Yet it's the older audiences that watch all the time. So although that you have an older audience that supports you, you're not really doing anything to keep them. You're trying to get everybody else. So it's a con for them. It's a pro for golf in general. Golf is growing. Golf is becoming more exciting. It's a pro for the audience and the viewer, because the viewer wants exciting golf. And right now, most golf on television is incredibly boring. This is a way to spice it up and make it more and more exciting. So I am personally looking forward to this. I hope more comes about it, and I hope it happens fast. And I will move. I'll do whatever. I'll play. I want to play in that thing. Whatever it takes. I'll start posting a whole bunch of bad rounds. No, I'm going. we will go in where we're at. I think my handicap's 0 right now. Fantastic. I've been grinding my game, trying to actually play in qualifiers, which I've done. Got another one coming up and another one. So we are actually grinding on the game. So we're ready for anything. Let me know your thoughts on this. Thanks for listening. Comment below. Let's see where this goes. Peace out. See you guys soon.